This video has been brought to you in part by Signum Games. Check out their weird fantasy game, Napoleonica, Steel and Magic, now. Link in the description. One of my favorite videos from last year was building this army for Turnip 28. If you don't know, Turnip 28 is a weird, grimdark historical wargame set in Napoleon times. I built a small force for it using kit bashing and really quick and dirty techniques, but today we're going to do something a little higher quality. I was sent something very, very awesome that I've been excited to share with you for a little while. That's high quality resin miniatures for a weird fantasy grimdark skirmish game. The game in question is called Napoleonica Steel and Magic. Napoleonica Steel and Magic is amazing. It's a hex-based, which is kind of cool for tabletop games, a hex-based fantasy game combining weird wars and magic, spells, sorcery, weird fantasy, interesting mechanics, everything you could want in a weird war game. I'm a big fan of people doing stuff original or taking ideas and twisting them. This is like if Heroes of Might and Magic was set in the Napoleonic era. Something like that. I don't know. It's amazing. I love the vibe, I love the art style, and Signum Games, the creators of this, were kind enough to send me some miniatures to showcase today. So we have a couple of infantrymen with very, very turnipy beaks, very turnipy noses, some cool little goblins that I have so many ideas what to use for. They look like they're right out of the Dark Crystal. A bunch more infantrymen, including a drummer and a dude with a banner, and oh my god. I mean, we have Toffs already set up, we have everything set up for Turnip 28, and everything set up to play Napoleonica. I mean, look at this army. These are genuinely some of the nicest resin prints I think I have ever been given, and I can't thank Signum Games enough, and I can't recommend this stuff enough. Look at the quality of this. I saw this big, bursting monstrosity of a drummer and decided I had to paint something to a pretty top-notch quality. I really went hard with the paint in this video, as you'll see, because I think these sculpts really deserve to be painted well. There's so much variety here, but everything still clearly fits in a world. They still have the uniforms and the big funny hats, but some of them are vampires and zombies, and some of them just clearly want to eat, turnips. And these guys are even the Polish dudes on Polish winged horsemen. Amazing. So I'm going to thank Signum Games 100 times, and I'm going to showcase some amazing miniatures and some really, really fast and cool painting styles for Napoleonica Steel and Magic. So since my last army were all red coats, I decided that these guys had to be blue, and funnily enough, it let me just dip into a very, very familiar set of base coats. Weirdly, it's actually pretty similar to what I paint all of my Ultramarines with, as well as my Mechanicus army. Kind of funny. The main star is a buildup of blue into a really light blue, with some red bits of color and brass metallics, and some warm browns in there to really break it up. So the key to doing any fast grimdark army, at least in my opinion, is dry brush highlighting. So we're going to take our Imperial Navy, we're going to take a fancy little dry brush, and we're going to go from Imperial Navy all the way up to a really, really light blue, slowly mixing in that Imperial Navy. As you'll see over time, I'll compare them, I promise. I start with a black base coat of everything, I think a black primer, a spray paint primer, and then we just do straight Imperial Navy, almost like a pretty heavy overbrush. It's actually going to come out really nicely on top of black because it covers very, very well. A good way to check to make sure you haven't put too much paint on your brush or lighten the color too much is just to hit the rims of the base and slowly, slowly mix in that ivory color to build up not just direction of light, but we're also going to try and build up hard edges, and we just want to make their blue coats blue. And this is our third or fourth pass, and now we're really, really getting definition and depth in that blue. As you can see, the edges are nice and defined. We're going to cover a lot of them up later, but it's good to have them now. And if you're like super lazy, literally just do this, slap like a base on them, and you could field these. Then you're kind of playing chess with just like red versus blue or something. My original plan was to actually go blue and white all the way up to this misty gray, but to do that, you gotta start with like really dark gray and work your way up to a medium gray. And by the end, I don't even know that I use that misty gray often. It's mostly just like an extreme highlight, and these are infantry models. We're not gonna do extreme highlights on them, I promise. This is like bash some stuff onto the table. We already have beautiful, like high quality prints. We don't really need to do a whole lot to sell them and make them better. We can if we want, obviously. You can do whatever the heck you want. But really, we're just gonna like block in a couple of colors. We're gonna boost our contrast and levels a little bit. We're gonna do a couple washes. It's very, very straightforward, I promise. I find that warm browns contrast really, really nicely to any blue. So warm brown like wood, warm brown for the patches. It's good to keep a couple of types of brown in your arsenal, mostly because they contrast nicely and differently with different, with light or dark colors. So with blue, I tend to go with a nice warm brown. If I have like red coats or something warmer, I tend to do a darker, like deeper brown. Just contrast better. It's all about contrast and breaking up the model into like, shapes and pieces. Now after all of our brown is put down, we got to do a few pops of color just to like make them fun and interesting. And again, I think I'm doing a little bit too much with these models, and that's totally okay, but I felt like I didn't want to bore you, so all I did was slap a couple of different colors, some red on the hoods, or the hats, not hoods, big hats, fun hats, little pom-poms, stuff like that. Just red to like break it up. If I was in the mood, they would have probably 3-4 more colors on them, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to like get a really, really weird regiment on the table as fast as possible. They do need some skin, and I kind of hate painting skin lately. It's just an added color. And honestly, with turnip models, you can make their skin like gray. I don't think anyone would really, really care, but these guys are very clearly humans, so we're going to give them skin. What's really important today is metallics. So all of our metallics are going to be dry brush heavy to keep them grimy. So before I do all the metallics, I rebase coat everything I think is going to be metallic with black, and then smack it with a really crummy Games Workshop brush of all things. Not a dry brush, it's a Games Workshop brush that I spent real money on, and it did not stay together very well, so it's our dry brush today. That's okay. I'm not salty, I swear. Then we go in and hit a few more metallic spots with the actual brush just to like block in some colors, make sure nothing like overlaps, and we're being a little careful, but we're also allowed to be messy, And then I decide that this brass needs to hit a few spots, and it's kind of our accent metallic. I don't know. I don't really know where the metallics go, I just was doing it in the moment. Then the grimdark in a bottle. Our secret sauce is marine juice. I've used marine juice in probably every video for the past 2-3 years. It's equal parts black wash, brown wash, and speed paint medium. And again, it always looks garbage when it goes on, and then it'll dry, and they look pretty great. They definitely require a varnish because they'll be a little shiny, but man, does that stuff just work. So after I had the base coats down, I decided it was time to really give it my all with this color scheme to see what I could do on something with 1, this much detail, 2, this weird and different to anything I've ever painted before. So we're gonna grab this big hulking drumming monstrosity, and we're gonna go to town and really try and make him as good a quality as possible. First step was to get a little more depth within the reds, especially on the banner, because it's a little bit boring to just have that red. It's not my favorite red, the resplendent red. I really, really miss the old reds that I used to use, but I don't know what they are, and I can't remember. So I'm stuck with the resplendent red because I paid money for it. That being said, a really good way to get a deep, rich, complicated red is to start with brown, actually. So you do like a dark, dark brown. I even sometimes mix black in with the brown, and you slowly mix in your red to the brown to get a lot of depth. And we're gonna do the same sort of dry brushing we did before, but going from brown to red gives this really, really lovely, deep transition of color, to the point that I even used it a little bit, if you noticed, on some of the bags. Then there's a few areas that still need the personal touch of just like a brush proper with some highlights, some like full ass red color, a couple of spot highlights, a couple of pom-poms, like the ridges on the flag to really, really sell it and bring it out. And then same thing as before, slap that bad boy completely in marine juice, and he looks really good. I think he looks excellent, and this is like such a wild model for me to paint. It's not something I do a lot, this like style, but we got to bring it up. So we take every single one of our base coats and we just mix in ivory, slowly building up highlights. And I'm not going to bore you with those highlights, but we do that with everything from base coats to skin. I even tried to play around with a few washes on the skin, from purple for the undersides to like a flesh wash for a warmer top half. It's a little all over the place, but we're going to really, really go ham on the highlighting. I decided the cloth is the easiest thing to start highlighting, and a good example of what I'm trying to do. With any highlighting, obviously, you're not covering everything, you're just slowly covering less as you brighten up the color. So as I mix in more and more ivory, I'm hitting less and less spots, aiming more towards the edges. Super easy, you know how to highlight. Yeah, this place is kind of a mess right now. It'll be fine. Yikes. For every like or comment or subscribe, I will clean one thing off this desk. I think. Now, according to my fat cat Moxie, it's time to do basing and weathering, which actually for turnip models is probably the most important thing to really like set them in the world you want. As you all know, lately I've been just using I almost said diarrhea paste. No, we're going to use diorama paste, texture paste, diorama effects. I'm going to leave this in and not edit it out. That's how much I want to get this video done for Signum Games. They've been very kind. Don't use diarrhea paste. Use diorama paste on the base of your miniatures. 1, holds things in place. 2, it's really, really easy. 3, you can buy a big tub of this, and honestly, it's not that expensive. Grimdark bases, I like to do some sort of cheap craft paint, like a dark paint, like this burnt umber. And all we're going to do is do a couple base coats of that, because cheap craft paint usually has poor coverage. And then we're going to do some dry brushing and washing, and nothing you've never seen before. One of the tricks with dirty, grimy, grungy turnip models and Napoleonica models is hit the feet with the mud color. Hit the feet with the mud color with the texture paste. Hit the head with the mud color. Do some sponging on them. Literally like slap dirty, grimy, grungy colors all around, everywhere on the model, just to add more. So his metallics are going to be scuffed. His coat is going to be dirty. He's going to be messy and grimy. This guy doesn't clean his uniform. This guy doesn't even like have hands left to clean himself. I don't even know what he does. I mean, he's going to be grimy. He's going to be grungy. Let him be. So I wanted to finish this on camera, but I went to a concert last night. And I threw my back out. Because I'm old now. And Signum Games has been very nice to me, so I want to make sure I finish this in a timely manner. So we're just going to spend a couple hours tonight finishing the base like I do in every other video. So watch an old video if you want to see how I do that. And yeah. Thanks. And after all that grime and grunge, I was left with this. And as always, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking around. I've been Chris. These have been a bunch of amazing miniatures from Napoleonica, Steel, and Magic. I worry I haven't promoted Signum Games enough because Signum Games is awesome, and I really, really, really want you to check out their stuff. They were very, very nice to me. They were very patient with me, and I hope I did them justice. As you can see, I had this whole spread out force that I'm going to paint up and build like a proper army. If you want to see more of that, let me know. Maybe I can paint like the winged horsemen on camera. If you want me to do that, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to paint in my spare time, and I'm going to enjoy myself. Again, thank you, Signum Games. Check out all of their stuff. They're really, really nice people, and I appreciate them. Check them out, and then after you're done, you can maybe like and subscribe and check out this video. You do all that stuff too. Either way, I've been Chris. I like to paint things. Have a good one.